Hi guys, it's Monika. I don't know when I'm going to get this uploaded because I'm still actually on vacation. We're actually going to be leaving very soon. Vacation's almost over and it's kind of really depressing to think about having to pack up and leave this beautiful spot. But I wanted to just briefly talk to you about surviving keto or low carb living or any kind of a fitness diet program when you're away from home and out of your normal routine. So as many of you know, I do intermittent fasting. And the intermittent fasting that I really try to do is I try to fast for 18 hours and, eat then for 6 hours. Have a 6-hour feeding period, 18-hour fasting period. Well, that's okay when I'm at home. It's pretty easy for me to achieve that. I have no problems at all. I'm so used to it. And while I'm not like kicking off a ton of weight doing it, I am able to maintain. And of course, my goal isn't to maintain, and my goal is more to tone, but I need to get my butt to the gym and be a little bit more physically active to do that. But when I'm on vacation and I'm with my husband, he likes breakfast in the morning. He can't go 18 hours. His blood sugar, everything affects him if he doesn't have food in his belly. So he really likes to eat in the morning, and it's sort of like an indulgence to really have a full breakfast while we're away. So I do try to make a breakfast. We usually have bacon and eggs, sausage sometimes. On a very rare occasion, we have some cinnamon French toast, which is a real treat. But it's really difficult for the intermittent fasting. So how do I handle that? How do I overcome that? I might realize that my fasting isn't going to be super on point while I'm away from home. And I might also realize that I'm going to have some cheat meals and maybe an alcoholic beverage or two. I'm camping. I'm inside my motorhome. Of course you're going to have cheats. You're going to have those moments. So the best thing that I can tell you is just be prepared for them. So if you plan that you're going to have a cheat, I think it's a lot better than, oh my God, all of a sudden you have a cheat and you're overcome with guilt and remorse for having eaten that. So I really try to plan my cheats. So I know when we're up here in the BoothBay Harbor region that there's a couple of places that we like to have an ice cream treat. And the one that we really like in particular that has low sugar ice cream, which while it still has high carbs, it doesn't have as much sugar to impact me in general. I like to have my ice cream earlier so that when I'm walking around town, I can try to burn off as much as possible. And that's what I mean by planning a cheat. I know that we may go out to dinner at a restaurant. We're on vacation after all. And I do know that one of my weaknesses is I love beer batted onion rings. I also like to, on an occasion, have fried clams with the bellies. So I'm giving myself approval to have those cheats. But I also need to know that I need to adjust for those cheats. So for example, if I'm going to have a super high carbohydrate meal, I'm going to try to offset it by having another dose of MCT oil, drinking a ton of water to try to flush out my system. It may be just fooling my brain to thinking that it's kind of helping a little bit, but that's what I tend to do. I try to be as active as possible. So I'm not going to the gym up here, but I have in my motorhome, I have this bouncing ball under the table. And the premise behind this is to actually work on it for balancing and to work your abs, etc. So you can stay somewhat active. I also do a lot of walking in place inside the motorhome so that I can try to achieve my 10,000 steps. I don't always meet my 10,000 steps. And I do, when I'm away from home, monitor my total calorie intake as opposed to just my carbs, because I know, for 10 days I'm on vacation or whatever, I'm gone, and I'm giving myself permission to have those indulgences, those cheats that I know I'm going to have. And if I can fast, I will fast. So I try to stretch out making breakfast in the morning, till maybe 10:30. I kind of try to, I'll make it in a minute, honey. I'll make it in a minute. So I can almost make it more like a brunch so that I'm going 12 hours. I also really try to work really hard on having an early dinner. I'd much rather have an early dinner than a late dinner any time of the week. If I have an early dinner, if we eat by say 5:36 and I try not to have any junk food after that, then my fasting period starts. And the biggest benefit for me, for the low carb lifestyle, low carb, keto, and intermittent fasting lifestyle, is I don't have that god-awful bloating. You know the bloating you have when you're eating, you're indulging, I'm out in the sun, it's been humid, my belly isn't bloated, I don't feel, I feel pretty good. So not as good as normal because I have cheated, but I do feel pretty good. So I think the biggest thing to surviving a vacation and keto and intermittent fasting, when you have a family or a husband, and he is my family, when you have other people to care for and other people to feed, is to plan ahead and try to be as proactive as possible in timing your meals and giving yourself permission to cheat, and don't beat yourself up for that cheat. So, give yourself permission to cheat and enjoy a vacation. You don't vacation every day. At least I don't. Make the best of it and make wise choices. And when you're away from home, you also should plan accordingly in case there is any kind of an injury. And in case you're noticing that I've got some swelling and bruising here on my cheek, is I had a little bit of a motorhome accident the other day. I was just jammed. I'm not going to give you the gory details, but I took a cabinet door and I went to slam it shut. And when I went to slam it shut, I thought my face was away, but the edge of the cabinet door, which was above my bed, thankfully, hit me really hard right here. And it hit me so hard that I saw stars. And I went down on the bed, because I was on the bed trying to do the cabinet door, and I went down on the bed and I literally saw stars, and I thought immediately I broke my cheekbone. And I waited until I had my bearings, and I got up and I looked, and I could see immediately it was starting to welt up, and I had broken some skin, and I took ice, and I did ice that night every 20 minutes while I was awake. And then I went to bed and I fell asleep. I slept the whole night long. I woke up the next day, and I'll tell you, my cheekbone didn't look that bad. It's a little discoloration, little bruising, and the split is still there. I probably will have a slight scar, but there wasn't like a ton of bleeding. But the point of that is that I wasn't prepared for an injury. I realized that when I took out when we winterized last year, we took out all of our aspirin, Band-Aid, medical supplies that we would normally have on hand, and I never replaced them. So when I was looking for any kind of like an ice pack or anything of that nature, I didn't have it. I mean, hopefully you never need it, but you should also plan ahead in case you have an emergency and you have an injury and you have to deal with that emergency. So don't get caught like I did. I was alone because Jay went home to golf, and I'm in a campground. What can I say? I had no vehicle. It was an interesting night, but all is well. But that is why I have a little bit of discoloration. Again, I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded, but you can survive a ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, or any kind of diet lifestyle on vacation. But I think the biggest takeaway is plan your cheats, plan your cheats, plan your cheats, and forgive yourself when you have them. Don't beat yourself up. I think when you beat yourself up and say, oh, I did this, I did that, oh, awful, then you're giving yourself an excuse to not go forward. You're giving yourself an excuse to fail. And there is no failure. It's just a matter of your mindset and starting all over. And hey, we're all human. We're all going to have those moments. So thanks so much for watching. I know this is a long video. I truly appreciate your support. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, please consider ringing that notification bell, because everyone has been talking about how YouTube has been not showing some videos in folks' stream and actually unsubscribing them. So if you ring the bell, I think technically YouTube won't unsubscribe you, and also you'll be notified whenever I upload one of my fantastically interesting videos. What can I say? So anyways, thanks so much for hanging in there. Have a great day, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye, guys.